Hello and welcome to the IRIE-AT Training Center. We're happy to have you with us today. Today we are covering the topic of the TactileView hardware. Many of you are familiar, probably most of you are familiar with the TactileView software, which is the most used tactile graphics software in the United States, and I think actually in the world, in the entire world. So that sounds so much cooler. Anyway, we're lucky enough today, you don't have to just listen to my mug. We have joining us from across the sea in Holland, we have the president of Thinkable, the company that makes TactileView. Mr. Jaap Breider is here. And I should also give credit to his lovely wife, Marianne, who will be assisting with various computer tasks and things on that side. Anyway, thanks for joining us. Really happy to have you with us and happy to dive into the TactileView hardware. So often we ignore this really important part of the TactileView software. There are many tools that not only enhance the usefulness of the software, but in particular, the hardware tools are made with a lot of features in order to incorporate actual blind people into the creation of tactile graphics. In most cases, tactile graphics are made by sighted people for blind people. And we've found, at least anecdotally, there's quite a difference in the response that people have to tactile graphics created by other people if they're able to create them themselves. In other words, if people are creating things themselves or totally blind people are creating things themselves, they're more able to read what sighted people and other people are creating for them. So it's just good all around, not to mention the more inclusive we make it, the more people can do things independently. And these tools really do a lot to enhance the independent use and just the power of TactileView. Now, we've done a lot of trainings and things on this over the years, and this is something we're changing up a little bit. There's some new pieces of the TactileView hardware. Maybe there's one piece that's not directly related to the hardware suite, but definitely enhances the product. And there's some different ways to use the hardware and enhancements in the hardware that we've kind of changed our use of them, enhanced our use of them over the years, and wanted to make sure everybody was updated on the latest and the greatest TactileView hardware and all that they can do beyond just the software themselves, which, the software itself, which is already so powerful. Sorry, I'm going to stop the starting soon.
Jeff, we can't hear you. You are mute.
Oh, good. Well, I've just been talking to myself for a bunch of time here. Okay, well.
The last few sentences.
The last two sentences, somehow I managed to mute myself. Okay, clearly I'm a pro at this. Okay, so let me change to the wrong slide too. All right, Marianne, you want to catch, where did I get cut off?
Sorry, when you were trying to change slide, you mute yourself.
Oh, okay, just at the mute. Okay. So again, we're lucky enough to have with us today Mr. Jaap Breider, the president of Thinkable in Holland, the creators and developers of TactileView and all the hardware we'll see today. And we'll be going through some slides and kind of giving a background of what is TactileView, what is the TactileView Design Suite, what is the MDA that we'll be looking at today, and then I'll be turning it over to Jaap to bring us forward further. I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to be, just as a housekeeping thing, I'm going to be watching the chats and the Q&As as we go through. I'm probably not going to do that actively during my part of the presentation, but that's just a few minutes here at the beginning, and then I'll be on answering questions and trying to make sure everybody gets those answers as they come in. I apologize if there'll be a little bit of delay on that as I'm also working the computer giving this first part of the presentation. So let's look at our learning goals today. our learning objectives is to see how the TactileView hardware can be utilized with the software, how it enhances the features of it. We're going to show some of that today. Definitely more to show, and like I say, we'll have more webinars about this. We're going to see the new motorized drawing arm in action. Very cool new product available now in the US, and excited to show that to you today. And we're also looking at some new ways to capture digital or images that are created tactily by blind people. We've done it in a certain way for a number of years. You can still do it that way, but we're going to at least touch on some new ways to do that in a more effective and quick way. So what is the TactileView Design Suite? It is both hardware and software. It's all around the core of the TactileView software that everyone is familiar with. Also part of that are hardware components. We have the TactiPad, which is a tactile drawing pad, and also the audio reading system with digital pen, which has a variety of uses. So first, the TactiPad. This is a very cool drawing pad. A lot of people say, oh, it's like the Draftsman or something. Well, this is much larger than the Draftsman, much bigger drawing area, and quite a bit more sophisticated. Jaap is going to go into it, so I won't describe in too much detail some of the benefits of the drawing pad. But I think you can notice, for those who are visual and can see in the picture, there's some tools that come with it, quite a number of drawing tools. There are sliders on the side to position tools. Everything is marked tactily and visually in high contrast with metric measurements. So it's quite a powerful drawing tool that we have, and Jaap will show you more about how that works. Also part of the system is the audio reading system. This is, if you can see the picture, is a click pad. It's a yellow pad in the background which holds the embossed images once we create an image in TactileView. And then we can use the digital pen, also shown, to get audio feedback from whatever we put in there. In the case of the picture I have up there, it's a graph where we made that automatically, so the software knows what is in the image, so you don't have to do anything. You just start pressing places on it, and it tells you what you're touching. You can also then manually input other audio objects, put your voice in it, put sound files or something behind it to enhance your tactile graphic with audio. A lot of times people say that's a toy. I always bring up an example like the periodic table. That's something that you could emboss on a piece of paper and could be felt tactily. It does have structure and importance to its structure, but there's way too much information to put into something and actually emboss it for somebody. But if you can emboss the structure of it and then embed the audio with the pen, you can actually get full access to the periodic table on something as small as a letter-sized piece of paper. So it's a very underutilized part of the system, and one that I hope people start using more, the audio reading system. I can also take that sensor. If you can see on the top of the yellow pad, there's a magnetic sensor that will also connect to the TactiPad. And then I can use the TactiPad for inputting into the software, which is one of the things that we're doing a little bit differently now, and Jaap will show you more about that. So the last part, which is not part of the TactileView Design Suite, but is definitely an enhancement of it, is the motorized drawing arm. This, for me, it kind of finally completes the circle of now we're communicating on a medium that is the computer's drawing on the same medium, we're drawing on the same medium, we're not moving out to embossed paper and kind of losing our ability to keep drawing. This has all kinds of stuff we're going to show you, or Jaap is going to show you, where you can have the computer draw some stuff and you draw some stuff, and really makes it interactive. Most importantly, you're always working on the same medium, so you're always working with the computer, and you're not kind of breaking away into where you lose that universal loop of where a blind person can do everything themselves. I'm really excited to show that to you today. So with that, I'm going to quiet my mouth, and I'm going to turn things over to Jaap and Marianne and ask them to start showing you some cool stuff. And again, I'll be back at the end to just kind of wrap stuff up and to talk about some of the upcoming webinars that we have to show you more about the MDA and more about TactileView and the TactileView hardware in general. So, Jaap, take it away.
Hello there. Let me know if you hear me, Jeff.
Yep.
Yeah, you hear me. Okay. Hello, everybody. We are the two of people from the Thinkable company here. It's the evening over here, and if you can see my hand, I wave at you. So, what we do today is we will show you the TactiPad and making maps, going into graphs, and some basic ideas how you can teach your students to be a full professional drawer or designer at the end. So what you see here is the TactiPad, and it's actually sitting on top of the motorized drawing arm. I'm not sure if you can see to the full end of the area, but this is the arm that will at the end draw for us some picture on this TactiPad. I provided it already with some foil, and I placed these knobs in certain positions that I will come back on later. We start with to create a map from the Netherlands. So what we do is inside the MDA, we have a built-in website. We go there, and this website is called http MDA/, and when we get on that page, we go to the page link called interactive. And from there, we have a number of modules we can choose from, and we will choose the map module. With this link, we are actually going to the Root Tactile website, which you are able to find at www.roottactile.com. We're going to create an image, a picture of the Netherlands. So we select contour a country and then the contour of the Netherlands. And we have a list of all the countries in the world. So it doesn't matter which country you want to have a contour of. And we're going to add some elements there. We're going to adjust map. It's one of the. So we're going to add elements in this map, and many of you heard about Amsterdam. So we're going to put Amsterdam in the map. So we type Amsterdam, and when you click on that, you will see this dot will be added to Amsterdam. I will add Groningen as well. I did my studies of psychology at that university over there, so I feel always very proud to present Groningen to the rest of the world, actually. And
yeah,
yeah.
I break in here for a second. Could you try screen sharing again? For some reason, it didn't really show the screen well. It's very strange looking. I hope that's not just my video, but I think it's showing up for everybody that it's very.
Is it better now?
No.
The map of the Netherlands?
I can see it, but it's all very, very blurry.
Oh, that's new.
I'm not quite sure why.
Basic. After basic. Is it better?
It's a little better. It's still a little grainy.
On our side, so what to do?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why the video quality is so poor.
Is it better now? We enlarged it a bit.
Slightly better. Try just showing just the screen. Just switch to TactileView maybe for a second. Show the TactileView screen and then switch back. See if that shakes it up or does something. Yeah, TactileView is a little bit grainy, but it seems better. Okay, now try switching back to the other and maybe it'll jog it. Okay,
Well, it might actually be the.
Is it better?
That's slightly better, yeah.
It might actually be in the storm coming into Louisiana.
um, there was also a question, someone asked to place the website links in the chat, and I don't actually have the website links on this side. So I don't know if that's something Marianne would be able to do at the end or something to put those.
Yep.
At the end we will. At this moment I don't have the chat on the screen, but we will do it at the end. Is that
That sounds
convenient
perfect.
for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we continue then with creating the map. So we're going to add our own city, Husen, as well, and then we are ready with this map. We can also add lines on the map or circles around certain cities, but for now I think this is enough. So we're going to print the map, and we're going to do that by clicking on the button sketch with MDA, and then we're going to switch camera so you can see actually. Yeah. Can you switch? Is it working? Is it?
Yeah.
Is this visible for you on your side?
Yeah, this looks good.
Okay. So as you can see, while I'm talking, the motorized drawing arm is actually working its way to create our country with the borders. And at the end, when it's done, it will also add the little dots for the 3 cities that we added. After that, so here this is the south part of the country. So this is our map, and I think this is rather quick. It's impossible to do it. And now we are able to add actually manually to this map, because this is the drawing paper, the film, which is sitting underneath the frame. And as you can see, here is Amsterdam, and on this side here is Husen, which is our city, and here is Germany. And the river Rhine, you may have heard of that, is coming in country and floats about here and gets another name, and then will enter the sea, the North Sea, actually, where Rotterdam is. So I point Rotterdam here as well. So what you can see here is that I have a map, and I can add manually to it. When I take one of the tools that is provided with the TactiPad, I can make a line actually from Groningen. And let me see where I find Groningen. It's over there. To
In de lijn de rijstrook dus.
okay, yeah. And we can create a line, and we can, for instance, measure the distance. What we can do with all of this is that we have a way to create a map and add elements to it, either from the websites or manually by the teacher or by the student. So you can work and make it complex and more complex in various runs. Having told you where we live, I take the back of the TactiPad. So can you change the sheet for me? This is actually the bag where the TactiPad comes in. You see the tools here, the ruler. This is actually the compartment for the triangle, the compass, protector, and the protector are actually 2 parts. Compartment for the pen and for the digital pen, if you like, and some push pins here. On this side, the TactiPad is stored, so you can take it out. And underneath the other one, you find the compartment for a new sheet. So this is for now what we want to do on maps. And we mentioned that we are able to create graph. Can you change the foil on that one?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, okay, thanks. I played, as you can see, the knobs over here are. Huh? Okay. These knobs, they can be loosened and move them aside like a screw, and then here, and then tighten them again. And for now, I use these to create a coordinate system. This one is loose. Oh. Doesn't look it's prepared well enough, but as you can see, I can do that on the fly. So this is my coordinate system, and normally what you would do is have to make dots on ticks on your axis, like this. But this is all really time consuming. So what we do is we place these knobs, especially in these positions, because above the ruler is the positive quadrant, the first quadrant and the second quadrant. And when I do this, you see the positive part of the first quadrant and the fourth quadrant. When I use these triangle, I can put it alongside. So when I want to have, for instance, a coordinate 2, I mark it here at the 2 position, and I want to have it marked at the 3 position. So I move it here, 1, 2, 3, move it up, and then I can mark it here with my 2. So this is an easy way actually to create a graph with just using the ruler and the triangle, because the ruler is holding the one axis actually, and you can count your ticks along the axis, and the triangle can move up and down, or when you like you can hold it like this way and it can go down. So this is a way to create a graph. I will add a few more values so we can actually really create a graph. I will do 3, 1, and I will do, let me say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then go to 1, 2, and I said 5, so that's over here. So now I would be able to connect these points in a curve when I'm able of something like that. It's not all that precise at this point, but I do that while I'm talking. So I hope you enjoy this manually created graph. Can I have the other TactilePad? Oh, sorry, I just have a quick demonstration. This is a magnetic base for the compass. And for instance, if we want to have a circle that is actually on top on the line of the graph on the axis, so we have a straight line here, and these are two indents that actually, when you feel the position of the line in the middle of the indent, the center of the circle is exactly on the line. You can see here they can make circles of minimum of 3, 4, 5. So we make it 5, and then we can. And well, this is a magnet, so I can just take my hands off, and then you can see a perfect circle. I can rotate this centerpiece, and then also you see. I'm not sure if it's well enough, clear enough for you to see, but here is the actual center of the circle that I can touch. I'm not going to use the protector at this point. This is the a newly prepared okay. So changing paper on the other one again, and we're going to take one of the accessories, which is the one more to go. So let me arrange them for you. A little bit full of accessories, but here you see them all. These are actually 4 templates for graphs that you have to make very often, and when you see all kinds of indents and measurements, alignment tools actually. So this would be 1 divided by x. This is actually half a tangent, and this is part of a. This is the tangent, sorry, and this is the sinus wave, and here we have the x square. I'm not sure if you can see it, but here you see little blocks, and when your pen go like here, it will stop automatically against these blocks, so your pen won't sort of go beyond the drawing. This is an actual tool that is creating lenses, a convex and concave lens and a mirror. These 4 tools, they come with the graph grid. And the graph grid is a frame that has rubber bands. And in these hooks, these rubber bands can be relocated or replaced when sometimes they break, they dry. Around this frame, we have also the same measurement indicators as you see here on the TactiPad. The coordinate system starts here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 5, these indents, 6, 7, 10, 15, 16, 17, 17 and a half, and you see the same measurement system here, and we have 1 rubber band that go all around the graph grid, and you can use that also as your axis indicator. So I placed the knobs already in their correct position. Find my pen again. So, and here you see that we have grids grid boxes actually made of the of rubber bands, and what you can do is you count here again, and you mark positions, and the rubber bands can actually move, so you can actually precisely put your markers on exact locations of the grid crossing, if you like, and if you want to do a precise, and you can actually count. After this, you take it away and you connect the dots again as your graph. Well, this frame has actually many purposes. For instance, if you want to teach children about bar charts, you can say, okay, how many children do have a birthday in January? It's 1. February, we have actually 2. March, none. April, we have 4 children have their birthday. So in December, we have the full bar chart in our classroom. Also, you could sort of play tic-tac-toe or other games related to these to grids. So this is actually the second way of creating axis, coordinate system, and graphs. We go now back to the MDA. Yeah. Kijk, is er een plaatje daar? So actually we have a new paper here, and what you can see is when I lift the frame, the paper is sort of covered underneath. We have another way to create a graph, actually an axis, that is again in the internal website in the MDA. It's on the interactive page. It has to go all the way to the US, so it is kind of a bit slow. Okay.
Ik zit bij wat ik doe. Ik moet wat terug naar de homepage. Do home. It doesn't want to go home. Okay, doe even. Ja. Niet op, kom. Dan moet de balk weer.
So we go to interactive, and there you see a number of modules as basic shapes. We don't have the time to go into all of these, but we go to maybe just name them when they are not really visible on the screen.
So you see arithmetics, charts and tables, geometrical shapes, measurement systems, text. You are able to put in text, basic shapes, coordinate systems, the maps, that's what we did, tangram and time clock and calendar.
So we go to take the coordinate system.
Oh, that's a basic shape.
Certainly.
Then we return. Coordinate system.
And we have a few flavors of coordinate systems. Well, you can just create one.
Coordinate system scale 1 to 1, that's what we do. And you add in some values. So we said x minus 8 plus 8, the y-axis minus 6 plus 6, and the grid indicators in steps of 2 for x and y-axis, and non-grid indicators. Well, create image.
Here you see what you will get actually as an image. And when you are not satisfied, you can go back and make changes to either the values or the grid representation or whatever.
Let's say dots.
And so
create image again. This is when you ask for dots on the coordinate points.
Yeah, so
then this will be the image.
For now, we take the dots away because that takes a little time. We don't want to see dots. And now we can prepare the image and then sketch the image, and then confirm to sketch. And then we go back to camera, so you can then see. Stop share. Jeff, is this visible again? Jeff, we don't hear you. So this is a very fast way to create your axis, and after this, you can add your graph again and make the values. So this is actually the third method of creating a graph. Another way of creating a graph would be with the TactileView software. I understood that that has been shown in earlier webinars, so we don't go into that at this point. Okay. The next subject is how do we get to teach the students to be able to create a drawing really fast, accurate, and also with fun, and that they really understand what they do. As for teachers, it is quite a task to find exercises or to find a subject to prepare material so the student can learn to draw. We did that for you with the MDA, and we do that in the example files. That is one other page. Yeah. That is one other page in the website of the MDA. And as you can see, we have some cartoon figures, we have animals, we have some mazes, and we have also
animals, chemistry, some coordinate system, emojis, learn to measure, lots of mazes, geometrical shapes, the first lines, just complete the drawing, biology.
So this is quite a number of categories, and the number of example images will grow over time. And whenever you launch the MDA, it will check for updates and also for new example files. So this time we go into first lines. And we have a few, 9 different exercises created, which can be extended, of course. And the exercise is that we prepare a number of the same shapes that have to be completed. Well, you can maybe take the half circle as an example, or the triangle.
Half circle. Yeah.
Oh, you may sketch this one. We do it over the coordinate system, if you don't mind. Sorry, stop share. Go back to camera. The idea is that we have a number of the same images, very simple images that the student has to complete. And when you start, you can ask them to do it as precise as possible. And after 1 month, you can do the same task and say, okay, do it as fast as possible as you can. And then by sort of measuring these two, the time that it takes to do the task, gives you an idea how well the student is getting his drawing skills. As you see here, these are semicircle actually. So the idea is that we complete it. Yeah. Well, here you see the full example. And so this would be my task, and I think some of them are really precise and some of them are a little bit rough, but you get the idea. And we have a number of these exercises prepared, and if you come up with other ideas or other templates you want to include, please feel free. These are all images in SVG, and they are stored inside the internal website of the Motorized Drawing Arm. When you go a little bit more to examples, back into examples, for instance, we can create a smiley. We have yet another TactiPad, and we're going to create a smiley because just doing dumb drawing and exercise can be a little bit cumbersome and not really stimulating. So we have also drawings for fun and education. So let's do the happy smiley. So you see again that the motorized drawing arm is taking a lot of work out of our hands, and it's really fast, and it is silent. You can hear probably the motors running, but the sound level is rather low. Well, here you see the smiley, and what we can do is we give it some ear. Always when we show it to people, they give it some hair, and they give it some few teeth, and well, let me see. Can you read that? And a question mark. I think for now, this is what we do in well, in just a short run of the motorized drawing arm, the TactiPad and its tools. So, well, maybe you have questions. We can do much more, of course, but we don't want to take you too long. And take up too much more from your time. So we go back to Jeff.
Okay. Let me get things going back in this direction. And I should have video somewhere. Okay. So, yeah, so that was just a real brief touch on the motorized drawing arm. We have everybody's email addresses who registered for this webinar, so we are going to make sure that you're included. And I guess if you don't want to be, send us an email and let us know. But otherwise, we'll assume that you want an invitation to the motorized drawing webinar, motorized drawing arm webinar that we'll have just specifically focused on that, and a more thorough demonstration of that. We'll probably have to go an hour and a half, maybe even, to get through all of it. And then we'll be doing other things with Jaap and Marianne. So we'll make sure to get everybody invited to those things. Let's see, I do have some presentation resources up here. I was going to ask Marianne if she could use the chat on her side and give us some of the web links of things that she used, although I think a lot of it was actually using a web browser to get to the MDA itself. So it's not something you'd be able to go and do until you have an MDA, because it's, you know, it's like its own hotspot. You tie into it and you're actually looking at a web page, but you're looking at the internal software of the MDA itself. So I put some resources up here so you can read more about the TactileView software, TactileView Design Suite. We We have a number of tutorials, and I don't know if we have the most recent edited ones up there, but if not, we're very close to having a new set of tutorials updated on there. Also have a link to the Motorized Drawing Arm, as well as our webinar schedule in general. So now it's time for more questions. I've been answering questions as they came in. I see there's another one that my browser doesn't want to let me get to. Let's see. Yeah, are there tutorials on the website or YouTube videos? Yeah, we will be posting this webinar on our website as well as on YouTube. You'll find a webinars section on our website where you can find all the videos for past webinars. You can sign up for future webinars. I have a couple listed on there. September 10th, we'll have some new reading machines we'll be going through. We'll also be doing a Supernova Advanced Features thing on September 24th and diving into the screen reader or the Dolphin screen and magnification software, or sorry, magnification and speech software. And then I'm guessing it's going to be probably about a month or so, right around the end of September, early October, we'll be doing this webinar for TactileView and just continuing to do as much as we can. Okay, I see the website to make tactile maps has been shared. I mentioned there are tutorials. There was another question about that. We have them in print. We have them in video. We don't have all the tutorials in video form, so probably the most thorough way is the written tutorials. We have those in a form that is accessible, but also has pictures and things for sighted people that like that stuff. So those should be pretty easy to follow. And we give a lot of these webinars. You know, I've given at least one on deep dive into TactileView, another one on tactile graphics this summer that also focused a lot on TactileView. We're always happy if you have a group at your site that would like to have a personalized webinar. We can do something like that for you. That's no problem. We are in this new virtual world, and I spend all day in my new studio doing these kinds of things. So happy to get on and help you. I don't see, let's see if there's any more Q&A. I don't see any more Q&A. So, all right. So if there aren't any other questions, Jaap, Marianne, did you want to have any final comments?
No, not really. I hope you, of course, I hope you enjoyed it, but let us know that in your comments. Jeff was mentioning that for blind people, being able to create graphics is quite useful. I can add to that. I am blind myself, and I have designed these products. So I'm using my own tools to take them a step further as well. And without having the TactiPad drawing board, I couldn't do what I do in terms of further product development and software design. So yes, I cannot emphasize enough the value of tactile graphics that you can do yourself as a blind person. And one thing, we have developed the software initially for sighted people, and we get more and more questions from actually blind people who want to be able to create tactile drawings with software. So I think there is a nice challenge ahead of us to create a tactile accessible software. Well, the software of course is accessible, but methods to implement to make drawing and designing accessible and within reach, literally for blind people. So that's sort of my comment. Thanks for your attention.
Yeah, well, I think that's something that I try to point out a lot, is that these are all developed by a totally blind engineer. You know, this is something that we know is usable by blind people themselves because it's designed by a blind person.
Jeff,
yep.
A little correction. I'm psychologist, actually.
Well, you're a self-made engineer now.
I
Can
think
I
so.
ask you?
Both.
So I got a question. I don't actually know. This is one of my liabilities in trying to teach stuff for STEM is I'm terrible at math and science. So I know how to make it accessible if I know what it is. I have a question about the MDA and LISSAJOU like curves.
Can you repeat that?
They would like to know apparently if the MDA does Lissajou like curves. It's spelled LISSAJOU like curves. I'm sure I'm just showing my ignorance, but I have no idea what that is. It can make curves.
They may. Well, if you can make that curve as an SVG file, you can actually upload it. Or maybe we can just, oh, well, in the MDA, there is a, as mentioned, there is a website. And one of the pages in that website has is actually an upload page. So you can upload images in SVG to that directory, and then you can sketch these images from there. So I'm not familiar with these typical curves.
Lissajou like curves. Oh, is that the Corbusier? Hoe heet dat? De Corbusier switch? Die, hoe heet de curve? Yeah, I understand, but I can't
So
explain it.
if you can create that, if you have that available in an SVG file, yes, it will do all curves. As mentioned, you create it with your with InDesign or with some apps on your iPad. As long as it's SVG, you can upload it and it will draw.
Yeah, what's the name of that special curve application that's in it?
So why don't we do this? I often get questions I don't understand and I have to go research them. So I just promise, especially since we're going to go back and we're going to, in about a month, do another MDA focused session, we'll just make sure we cover that.
Well, you have to do the research.
Yeah. Hey, well, you're supposed to be an engineer. You should.
That's why I corrected this.
Okay. So again, we'll be inviting everyone who attended today to the MDA webinar, and hopefully you can join us for that and join us for our other webinars. Please do go to YouTube or our website and see all the other things that we have up there about TactileView. Give us a call, whatever you want. We're here to help you. So thanks again for joining us, and everybody have a great day.